What's up, guys? Python here, back with another video, and today we have some exciting things to talk about with the New York Mets. And man, the more and more moves are being made, the more and more excited I am for the season coming up. And the Mets made two pretty solid moves today that I'm very happy with personally. The Mets went out and signed Jose Quintana to a 2-year deal worth $26 million, and they also acquired Brooks Raley in a trade in exchange for a pitching prospect. I forgot his name, but he's someone I don't know too much about. But regardless, the Mets go out there and make two big moves to add to what they are doing here this offseason. And the thing that I love to hear is when they acquired Quintana, this did not take them out of the Kodai Senga sweepstakes. So that is great news. They're still in on Kodai. They're still in on maybe a Bassett to bring back if they lose out on Senga. They're still in the pitching market to look for a legit number 3 starter, because Quintana, he's a guy that I imagine more as a 4 or 5 guy, and I'm happy with that. And then for Brooks Raley, you add a lefty into the pen that you desperately needed. We're going to talk further about these signings and trade here. Before we jump into it, though, be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans. We cover the Mets here heavily on the channel, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload a video next. But let's talk about this, because there is a good amount here. Jose Quintana is where we'll start, because I am very happy with the signing, and they desperately needed to add to this rotation. And you're seeing Taillon go to the Cubs, and it looked like he was going to be the guy for the longest time. But then you saw the contract, and you're like, oof, this is how much these starters are costing. And then you see Andrew Heaney go to the Texas Rangers to join Jacob deGrom, of course, which I was kind of okay with the fact that we couldn't get him, but I was also kind of upset. He was kind of a guy I was interested in, but the innings definitely scared me. But the stuff was intriguing to me more with that. And then you also had Taijuan Walker, who was here last year, of course, in the past 2 years. He ended up going to the Philadelphia Phillies on a 4-year deal, and I think his deal was pretty expensive too. So to get Quintana at the price you did, at the years you did as well, this makes all the sense in the world, because it matches the timeline right now that you have with this 2 years sort of thing that everyone's on. You got Verlander on the 2-year deal. You got Scherzer here probably for another 2 years. You have these guys lined up in this 2-year window. It makes all the sense in the world to sign Quintana to that short of a deal. And worst case, it doesn't work out after this year, you trade the guy. It's 1 year left. I'm sure a team will take him. There's rumors flying around about Carlos Carrasco being on the move if Senga ends up getting signed, which we'll talk more about that in a minute. But when it comes to Quintana's numbers this past year, he had a 2.93 ERA, an expected ERA at 3.86, a FIP at 2.99, a expected FIP at 3.75, had a 4 WAR, which is very impressive there, 7.4 Ks per 9, 2.5 walks per 9, and a .43 home runs per 9. So yeah, he definitely was a very solid pitcher this past year. The concern with him hasn't been necessarily things like health, where in 2020 he wasn't healthy, but it's not really a concern, health, for the most part there. The concern with him is you look at some years in the past, and it's a little concerning. You look at 2021, he was not great. His expected numbers better, though, than his baseline numbers, but still not anything spectacular there. But the years before, he has been pretty solid. There are times where his ERA gets pretty high, but it's not alarming to the point where, hey, this guy sucks, he can't be a number 4 or 5 in the rotation. As long as you're giving him the run support he needs, you're getting 5-something runs a game, and he's allowing 4 runs a game, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with what you get from him. He just needs to eat innings. He just needs to be there every 5 days for me. That's all I ask for from a Jose Quintana, and that's all you need right now, especially because of the fact that you had unhealthy pitchers last year. You've had them in 2021, Carrasco barely staying healthy. You had injury concerns with Taijuan Walker during his tenure here, right? So you need a guy that's going to give you innings, and at least Quintana has gave innings in years prior. If you look at his games played, you just see 30s across 2021, 29 though, and then 2024. So the 2 outliers there. But for the most part, he's given you innings, and he's given what you needed there. So that makes me happy, and I'm very okay with the signing. Again, not an expensive deal either. And then, like I said, you're seeing Carlos Carrasco's name being floated around in trade rumors. Apparently, the Mets were trying to trade him well before the contract that he opted into, but the things didn't end up working out there. So now, or not he opted into, the one that the Mets picked up. It was a club option. My fault there. But regardless, the Mets have been trying to trade Carrasco, and they just haven't been able to. And they apparently might, if they end up going out there and signing a Senga, which I don't understand that logic. I feel like it makes sense in all the sense in the world to have your rotation be Verlander, Scherzer, Senga, Quintana, Carrasco. I think you're ready to go then. But it seems like the Mets are really intrigued by having Peterson and or McGill in this rotation. I don't know if it's because of the stuff that they have. I don't know if it's because of control and having some more money saved there. I don't know exactly what it is, but regardless, it's a little weird to me that they're trying to go that route instead of just having a pretty solid 5-man rotation there of the 5 that I mentioned prior. So it's a little weird that they're trying to explore that route, but it is what it is. I'm still excited either way for the rotation if it ends up being that way. I think that it has all the potential in the world with a McGill or Peterson or both. Maybe if you go a 6-man rotation, whatever you decide to do, I'm intrigued and I'm going to trust this team when it comes to the pitching side of things because, why not? Because they weren't bad last year when it came to that. So, except for down the stretch, obviously, which we know about. But regardless, I trust them when it comes to that. And speaking of pitching, like I said, Brooks Raley, they end up acquiring in a trade. And this was a name that I wanted so bad. When we heard that the Mets were in trade talks with the Tampa Bay Rays way earlier on in the offseason, this was one of the guys that I had under the microscope that I wanted badly. And the Mets went out and got Brooks Raley. I'm very happy with the signing. He ended up being with the Cubs early in his career, and then he went to the KBO for a very long time, came back in 2020. And his advanced numbers were way better than his baseline numbers. Same goes for his 2021 year in Houston. But last year with the Tampa Bay Rays, his baseline numbers showed and his advanced numbers. He had a 2.68 ERA with a 2.79 expected ERA, 2.74 FIP, a 3.28 FIP, and he had a Ks per nine at 10.2, had a walks per nine at 2.5, had a home runs per nine at 0.5. So he was pretty solid for the Tampa Bay Rays last year. And you needed a new lefty because Joely Rodriguez blew. He was awful. You needed to get a proven lefty, and you needed it to be either Andrew Chafin or go in the trade market where you get a Brooks Raley or someone like this. I don't know who else was out there, but you needed to do this because you weren't going to bring back Brad Hand. Like, you want to vomit when you hear some of the other names that were lefties on the market. So you had to get this done. Taylor Rogers, I think, was another name that's out there. You just want to puke when you hear him, right? So you had to go out there and make this type of trade, and I'm perfectly okay with that. He had some all-star numbers for the Tampa Bay Rays last year, and the Mets are smart with pitching, and they've made a lot of changes when it comes to the pitching department as well. So I'm very intrigued to see what Brooks Raley is going to bring to the table when it comes to this bullpen as they're starting to shape things out here a bit more. I'm intrigued to see who else they add, bring back Ottavino, bring back May. Those are two guys I'd like back in this bullpen next year. Maybe add, I don't know who, but you add another relief pitcher, but that's something that I'm definitely intrigued by. But the pitching staff finally starting to shake itself out, which is nice, and I'm very happy to see that because, the pitching definitely had a bit of questions last year when it comes to the bullpen more. That's where I have my questions more. But regardless, the pitching shaping out to be pretty solid as well. And you added a lefty to the pen that you desperately needed, like I said. And then when it comes to other things with the Mets, you have Brandon Nimmo still in ongoing conversations, and it's looking like backup options are going to be Kevin Kiermaier, which, I don't know what avenue. I think Andrew Benintendi was thrown out there as another name if they end up losing out on Brandon Nimmo. So Hopefully they could just end up paying Nimmo and bringing him back. It's looking like him and Senga are the two priorities for the Mets right now, which makes me happy and makes me excited because they need to do that. I still think they need to add another bat on top of that, another bat or two, add to this bench a bit, and I think we're ready to get rolling here for next season. There's not a lot to fill in. There's a couple spots in the bullpen. There's one rotation spot, and then you have to bring Nimmo back, and you have to get another bat, which sounds like a lot on paper, but in reality, it's really not that much that they have left because the bullpen, that's going to shake itself out. I'm not too worried there. I'm more worried when it comes to Nimmo and the pitching, and then realistically, it's just adding another bat there, and starting pitching is what I mean by the pitching. And then in other news, it's looking like Darren Ruff, they're exploring a trade there, which, hallelujah, send this guy to the moon. The trade never made sense. If you guys have been a long-time viewer on the channel, you know that I think that, but I'm just trying to quickly see if I miss any news, which it doesn't look like it. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. Well, this is going up the next day. This is pre-record stuff here, but that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on the signing of Jose Quintana in the comment section, the trade of Brooks Raley in the comment section. Would love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, leave a like on it, subscribe if you guys are new, especially for Met fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload a video next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Mets.